Just realized, as we're doing this live, that I didn't put the camera on there.
I was wondering.
So let's fix that in real time. These are the challenges with setting it up on the fly. Good enough. Everyone make sure the camera can see you. Oh, and look who's joined us. It's Claire. Hi, Claire Bear.
Hi, baby.
I just found this thing on the street.
Yeah, I don't know where my baby is. That's a new baby.
New baby.
Yeah.
She's getting sassy. She's a little sassy Smith.
Oh, not a Sassy Smith and a Fussy Fitzgerald?
Hey, I have the talking baby.
Okay.
You guys have to be quiet.
Okay. Welcome to episode 49 of the JCPenney podcast. We're here at Jason's house, the Brekky Crew, for its third podcast together, talking about week 2 recap, week 3 predictions before our first league event of the season. Guys, an early league event this year.
Yeah, I'm glad there's a lot of people coming. Got 2 TVs. We'll have 7 hours of commercial-free football starting in 1 hour.
Thanks for the nice red zone ad there.
I love me some Scott Hansen.
I know you do.
He's my spirit animal.
Yeah, because both of you don't peel, do they?
I mean, yeah, but that's more to do with my lack of drinking water.
Yeah, same.
So we're also going to be talking about, and we kind of did a preview of this on the mini pod. Given that there's a bunch of 2-0 teams, a bunch of 0-2 teams, kind of our takes on who the best 0-2 teams are, you know, in each of our minds, and who the worst 0-2 team is in each of our minds. So, and we also have our second trade of the season in week 2, like going into week 3.
Yeah, that first trade didn't count. That was child's play.
I mean, this is a big boy trade.
This was a man's trade.
So early on, and we'll talk about who won and lost that. So let's get right into it. First things first, as is tradition, we have to go over the week 2 matchups, and we're going to start, as we always do, with the commissioners. See, it's already messing me up because normally mine's at the top. We're going to start with the commissioners matchup because that is tradition. Yeah. I mean, what can I say? I said from the jump. Now, to be fair, I think I predicted Scotty to win this game, but I said from the jump, Scotty is going first to worst, and
I know you want it.
It's not like Scotty's team did bad. He would have beaten 6 of the other 9 options that he could play. It's just that your team did exceptionally well, top to bottom.
No one hates Scotty more than me. I've already called dibs on Scotty as my rival in this league. And I want him to go first to worst, but nothing about this team makes me think he's going first to worst. He put up 133 with 5 points from Jamar Chase.
And 10 from Richardson.
And again, we're looking at this pre-trade. So
we'll get there.
We'll see how it looks. But, I mean, you never want to start 0-2, but I'm not super worried about Scotty's team. I'm not worried about him getting some wins. I'm not worried about him being in the hunt for the wild card if the wins don't pan out. Sucks to be 0-2, but, you know, fuck you. You won the title last year, so no one feels bad for you.
So, allow me to say why. I mean, to be fair, we need to talk about the trade, and we'll get to it. But without Jaden Daniels and with his new quarterback, Rupert Cleveland,
that should have been your team name.
He is going to. I mean, he's going to have to start either Deshaun Watson or Geno Smith week in, week out of the flex. And I understand you can play the matchup, but
he's going to start Geno Smith. He's going to be good for 15, 16 points a week.
Is he? If he plays a good defense, is he? I mean, he's going to have some stinkers. I'm not saying he's like a terrible option, but he's not a good one. And he's already had question marks at some of his positions. Anthony Richardson he's QB9 right now, right? Like, not bad, but remember that Scott drafted him at 9 overall, right?
I mean,
all right, let's not get too far into the next part of the pod.
Yeah.
No, I'm just
the recap here, Sean.
All right, fair enough. I will say though, I'm thrilled. My team is not as good as this, but everyone's hitting, and I'm a little right now, I was terrified. The last thing I'll say about my team, I was terrified going into week 1 because I have Hawkinson in my IR spot. Jonathan Brooks is out. Hollywood Brown was out and now is on IR. Like, I really don't have that. My bench is fine, but it's not really super deep. So like I really can't withstand big injuries, and knock on wood.
Don't worry, Jerry will get all the
To,
injuries.
to bring it back down to earth a little bit, it's not like you got screwed over by a Hawkinson injury. Like you chose to use your IR spot on somebody who's not going to play for the first 10 weeks.
Totally agree. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying like I deliberately chose a couple injured players on my bench, thinking, okay, I just need to get it. Like, and it's the best case scenario. It's a dream scenario for me. I'm 2-0 so far.
Yeah.
Like if I can ride out the early part of the season, do okay, my team's gonna get better because of it. But
that's the thing.
But the concern I have is like, so Kittle's doubtful for today. I've got Fryermuth who's gonna start. I can't really withstand a lot of injuries, and so I need my guys to stay healthy. But
you got some moves to make. You need some people to get healthy. You probably need to add a little bit of bench depth, but you're 2-0.
yeah, can't complain.
You got to weather the early part of the season so you understand what you have.
You're 2-0 in the leading score. You're fine.
By a whopping 0.5 points.
Well, I was gonna actually do Jason's matchup next, but since you're right that we gotta go from one 2-0 team to the second best 2-0 team in the league in the standings. Brad, top scorer among all teams this week.
Yeah, imagine if Josh Allen hadn't just mollywopped the Dolphins, he would have put up another 30 points.
I'm a happy boy right now.
Sorry, bud.
I dropped Bryce Young.
Everything hurts and I'm dying.
I think getting what did I get? 11 points between my quarterback and Superflex. That's like a nightmare scenario. So to have enough depth throughout the rest of my team to still put up a good score is definitely something encouraging. Let's just take a look at McMillan here. Hurts did his job. Stroud did his job. Andrews did fine.
So his running backs did absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I hate Rashad White. Aaron Jones, I have historically liked, but I have questions about
I
the
think
numbers he's going to put up this year.
He'll be a good RB2 the whole season.
Yeah, he really doesn't have an RB1. Rashad White's not an RB1. He's too inefficient. DeAndre Swift, that offense is
if
problem.
the offense gets better, Swift has potential, but that's a big if.
Yeah, he just doesn't have the firepower. Like I don't think he's going to put up 80 any weeks, but I just think a perfect week for McMillan is 120, 125, which is a mediocre week.
The most I agree with you about all the problems with McMillan's team. He deserves to be 2-0. The most terrifying. Oh, 2. Sorry. The most terrifying thing about your team, Brad, is, and again, I don't want to get it into the 2-0 predictions thing, but kind of tipping my hand. But you did that 153 with a total of essentially less than 12.
Are you on a tape delay?
You're correct. Did you say that already?
Yeah. Yes, but no, you're absolutely right.
Sorry, I was
everyone pretend like I didn't just say that. Sean just got here. What were you saying about my team, Sean?
It's really good. I mean, when you get who'd you add this week?
Minshew. I dropped Bryce Young and I picked up Minshew.
Yeah, I mean, you got a quarterback at least.
The Panthers also dropped Bryce Young.
Jordan Love waiting in the wings.
Facts. Yeah.
If you can survive until Love comes back and Love plays like he should, your team is a title contender.
Spoiler alert, I'm scared to play Brad.
It is inflated by Devon Achane right now. Has no real competition for carries. He is the workhorse in Miami with Mostert injured for the last week and probably this week.
Mostert just went back to his roots.
But I mean, Tony Pollard been looking awesome.
And Spears I think he'll play, but he's got some injuries, so Pollard is the guy right now.
Pollard, it's the same thing. You've had the benefit of like your running backs have gotten supercharged by the virtue of they were in committees and now they're not.
So, yes, well, we'll wait for this because I kind of want to go off on Jerry a little bit.
Whoa! Already.
Believe it or not, I do watch the pods.
Did you drink your coffee?
Yeah, no, I'm happy with where I'm at. I don't want to get too far into the 2-0, 0-2 stuff we're going to talk about, but
we'll get there.
Solid week for me. I just want to be. I always say if I'm 2-2 after 4 weeks, I'm happy. If I can get 3-1, which I'm in good shape to be, then
yeah,
I'm over the moon.
McMillan also really hurting from Puka's injury still, but
I mean, it's just one injury though. But
it's only one. You're right.
Like Pittman hurt and not doing anything.
Yep.
Mark Andrews so far hasn't done anything.
Yeah, so that's the thing is like he's fine. He's still a tight end 1, but he's not worth the value you drafted him at.
Correct.
I mean, he's starting DeMarcus Robinson, who might get some numbers, but
Well, with Cup out, maybe, yeah.
I mean, he's just unproven.
True.
And the Rams O-line right now is dog water, so
They got to throw to somebody though, right?
Yeah, but there's a lot of guys that don't do anything with that. I just don't like his skill positions. I think his QBs can carry him with Stroud and Hurts, but we'll get into that.
I agree. Let's go to the last Brekky Crew matchup.
Yeah, my team sucks. That's all I gotta say.
It doesn't suck.
I mean, Mixon got hurt, lost him. Cooper put up another.
How long is Mixon out?
He's week to week. He didn't travel with the team, so that's not a good sign.
Probably out this week.
Caleb Williams didn't do anything. Schultz didn't do anything. I had to put in a different tight end. I mean, my team did okay considering like Mixon could have had a better game, but he got hurt. But CeeDee Lamb did great. St. Brown did great. Murray did great. Gibbs did, his standard 15. Dallas defense went negative. So
that might be the most surprising score of the whole thing because their defense carried all last season.
Yeah, my team is.
If James didn't draft them, we should have taken that as like insider information.
Yeah.
That this team's gonna suck.
Yeah.
My team was middle of the pack scoring. I mean, it's just.
I thought they were fine.
Yeah,
Like,
my team.
I'm not
fine.
worried about you. You just didn't come sprinting out of the gate like we thought you would after the draft.
I mean,
So,
Kamara put up 43, so Zach gets the dub on that. I mean, if I could have survived. I actually played. So I'm in 4 leagues. I had Kamara in 2, and I played against Kamara in 2, and I'm 1-1 with Kamara and 1-1 against Kamara. So that was an interesting statistic.
One of the more interesting wrinkles in your team to me is going to be, I mean, obviously we'll talk about your trade later, but Amari Cooper, how this shakes out because he is massively underperformed. I was big on him in preseason.
Yeah.
He's massively underperformed.
I mean, at 1,200 yards last year.
But there is talk already of potential trade interest for him.
Now put in Flacco. Let him get 1,200 yards again, and I'll be fine.
God.
But I
Is
mean,
he even on the team?
Yes.
depending upon where he
Just getting a
goes, it could
paycheck.
He
be.
is, right?
I
think so.
don't know.
I think they signed him again for another backup.
Like, imagine the Rams if Puka or Cup are out and they for an extended period and they're looking to compete, maybe making a move, or I don't know who the suitors would be. I'm just saying it could shake up his value. No, I mean it helped.
Reed's not on my team anymore.
Okay, I was gonna say because I'm big on Jaden Reed. Dobbins is at least flex or RB2 worthy. I'm not that worried about you right now, Jason.
The other thing, really quick, about you mentioned Kamara, but for his performance, you don't lose this week.
Yeah.
Can we talk about how bad Zach is at fantasy football?
I mean, you say that, but he's never missed the playoffs.
I know. And
I'm done betting against Zach.
I've never bet against him. I just think he should lose. Like, he benched Marvin Harrison. What are we doing here? Alvin Kamara is not that good. I love Alvin Kamara. I've been high on him his entire career. Bro has 4 touchdowns in 2 games. He's overperforming. Najee Harris is overperforming.
I have my thoughts on his whole team when we get to the rankings, Brad, as you have said.
Justin Herbert is not. Maybe he's top 10. Maybe.
Guys, we can hate on Zach's team in the rankings.
I want to say this:
He can't keep getting away with this.
No, he can. And he's going to.
does.
He can, and he's going to. He's done the chat too. Harrison got like 1 catch last week. Brad being results oriented out here. Here's what I'll say about Zach's
1
team.
catch in his opener. It's called getting rapport. I didn't bench him in the league. I had him, and I put up more points than you did.
I won it on record. 1, I predicted Zach to win last week, and he did. So kudos to me. The other thing I said, I went on record. I said at the draft there were 2 times that Zach screwed me at the bookends. 2 players that he picked right before I wanted them. Alvin Kamara, Rashid Shaheed, both of whom look great. And he hasn't started Shaheed once. Obviously, he started Kamara, and he's been a monster. But
And Barkley, the number 1 and number 3 running backs right now.
yeah, I mean, he's just. And honestly, I don't know if he trades one or not, but yeah, why would he? Like,
We'll get more in depth in the power rankings there, gentlemen.
last thing I'll say is just Tyreek Hill. There is that question mark of how does, and I have the same one with Jalen Waddle. Like, how does Tua being on the IR and Skylar Thompson being in affect their value? It is kind of a wild card.
I mean, it goes down. I mean,
I think
Maybe.
Tua
Hill's
was value
the
is still
passing
there.
leader last year, right?
He was.
Yeah, so obviously if you go from the passing leader to Skylar Thompson, you're not going to do as well. That's just an objective fact.
Yeah, probably.
Waddle's the deep threat, right?
They're both deep
No,
threats.
Waddle's-
Well, no. So Hill breaks
Hill is
off
the
big
deep
plays.
Waddle's the underneath guy.
All the highlights I've seen with Hill are like 10 to 15 yard runs that he just breaks.
Yeah.
because he's fast. So like, I don't think he needs someone to lay the ball out. He just needs to get himself open.
They both. No, if you watch McDaniel's offense, they both kind of run. They alternate on deep routes. They can hit. That's the danger of Miami is they both are true. Like obviously, like Tyreek Hill's the number one, but like they both could be wide receiver ones on their team. Like you can't
Not
really.
with Thompson. I think Hill will be fine. I think Waddle.
That's what I think.
I don't
Waddle
know.
takes the biggest hit because backup quarterbacks traditionally don't spread the ball around as much. They'll focus in on
One.
their main guy.
Yeah, I mean,
it's got to be Hill.
There's a dead
but
dog back here.
This is the
I don't know
thing.
if you can see it on camera.
It's like a complete wild card to me. I mean, we'll see how it goes. I think you're right that Hill's probably the safer bet, but it is still kind of wait and see. Moving on.
How much do you think we can get for that baby?
At least 350.
About 350.
About 350. Window and Alex. Window got a much needed win.
Yeah. I mean,
I
other
mean-
than Mahomes, I'm just gonna do mine quick.
Do you want to slap me?
I don't remember that slap bet. So
We definitely
was there
made
a
it.
witness?
I mean, I don't know. If you don't want to, we don't have to. But
We'll wait
it was
because
this-
we have two other slap bets.
It
One
was-
of which, one got interesting. The Waddle versus Cup. 'Cause
got very interesting.
It looked like Cup was gonna go run away with that.
Oh yeah, with Puka out and then Cup gets injured, but Waddle has Skylar Thompson, so who knows?
So that's just a coin flip
Yeah.
now.
Who knows?
So hold on, let me
go ahead.
so Windows team, Mahomes didn't do great, but top to bottom, everybody performed. Nothing crazy. His guys did what needed to. Jordan Mason is carrying his team right now.
It's obnoxious.
Alex is in danger.
What? Backup?
Nobody did shit on his team, and it's only getting worse. But
I don't know who there is to do shit besides Brees Hall.
Brees Hall.
yeah,
That's it, right?
Yep.
I mean,
Maybe Joe Burrow.
Can't carry a team with Tua out.
I don't
JSN
think
looks good.
I mean, I'll go ahead and just say it. Of the 0-2 teams, Alex is the worst. Like, and I'll say that again when we get there.
I disagree.
So, well, you don't disagree. Your power rankings are not based on. Jason and I talked before Sean got here. His power rankings are different, but that is not to say that Alex is not objectively the worst team.
I disagree.
He goes,
Go-
my favorite part is he says, "I disagree."
You
Brett goes,
don't-
"You don't disagree." Like, that
I
was the most
disagree
mansplaining.
disagree that you disagree. Just sit there and look pretty for a second.
I'm gonna get her bottle.
Looking,
God.
going back to Window. Congrats on the win, Window. That's about as high as your team can reach. 135. No one on your team scares me. That's 135 is what you're capable of on a good week. Enjoy this win while you can, because I see you getting 5 or 6 of these max this year.
Yeah.
If I were you, I would trade Jordan Mason while he has any value.
Well,
But like not idiotic trade offers like people keep blowing you up in the chat. Like, look what Windows sent me.
apparently, I thought there was some kind of like back and forth about like there was another time when they tried. I think Jerry and Window tried to work out a trade. It didn't work out, and
Window had a chance to sell Mason high to Jerry,
twice.
and he didn't do it. And 2 weeks in a row, he's gotten another opportunity because McCaffrey's still out,
Yep.
and
Well,
he's just
Jared
not
was in
taking advantage of
denial
it.
that McCaffrey was gonna miss time.
But
That's-
but here's the counterpoint for Window, and I'm not saying he shouldn't trade him. He should have probably, but
He still should.
here's the thing. Here's the counterpoint. Who are his running backs right now, other than Derrick Henry and Zach Charbonnet? I mean, like he could start those two,
I mean, Devin
trade
Singletary
Mason,
is fine.
but then who does,
ETN is a low end RB1 for me. He hasn't started strong, but
I mean, his running backs are the best part of his team.
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like he doesn't have he's doing thankfully what I told him he should have done from the start, which is starting someone else at the superflex besides his quarterbacks.
so I mean, you're kind of making the point, right? Like he needs to dump Jordan Mason and get another
A better
super
quarterback.
flex.
Yeah, I
Either
would
a
agree with
quarterback
that.
or a wide receiver.
Yep,
I
I would
mean,
agree
Sam
with that.
Darnold's been fine though. I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, do you trust Sam Darnold all season?
Oh yeah, over whoever you put in your OP. Yeah.
But in theory, you could parlay Sam Darnold and like Brad's saying, Jordan Mason for like maybe just a better could you get Brock Purdy from Jerry at that
How's
price?
that crotch smell, Evie?
I know, my good girl.
That's just a solid trade idea, Sean.
I mean, that's the building block.
We're just doing the work for you guys. We'll set up the trades. All you guys have to do is click accept.
But yeah, Alex is in danger zone. I mean, with Tua out, he's gonna have to start Justin Fields or whoever he added on waivers. What does he have? He hasn't just nothing left in the tank.
We'll wait because Jason apparently disagrees.
Let's see how I want to hear this argument.
I disagree that he disagrees.
We'll see. We'll see. Also, James wins with 115. Where was he? Where was James on the scoring list?
He was the third lowest.
This is the only
1, 2, 3, 4. He was fifth. He was sixth. He was sixth.
He was the only person who didn't deserve a win. He was the only non-top 5 person
that got a win.
And yes, it looks like he's 6, so he's right there. But like 115 is
115 is a lose.
Yeah, he should have lost. He got lucky. Jerry. We'll get into his team name. But Jerry pissed off somebody. I don't know what you did. I don't know what satanic ritual pissed on a burial ground or something. But somebody hates you.
The fantasy gods are
like you've done nothing wrong, but you're fucked.
I mean, hindsight's 2020, but with CMC's history, Mason would have been a solid pickup. But he looked.
The worst part is, and not that Josh Allen's been amazing, but Josh Allen was available at that point.
Oh yeah. No, I could be in his position right now.
I mean, I think
I would have taken CMC.
The CMC pick was fine.
But then you need that handcuff.
I agree, yeah, but then you got to get your handcuff.
Yeah.
There's a reason I have both of my handcuffs.
Yeah, there's a reason. That's what I wanted to yell at Jerry about, because he talks shit about the 2 handcuffs I got. He's like, he got lucky that he needed his handcuffs. Like, no, that's why they exist. And now Window is putting you to task.
It is a gamble. So,
well,
that was one of the most valuable handcuffs in the league. But although he was the number 3 on the depth chart to start the season, but Mitchell got hurt too.
Yeah, so. But it's not that hard to read some of the projections and be like, he's starting as number 3, but he has a solid chance of taking the backup role or blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I mean, just future lesson: handcuffs are important.
James got a win he needed because I don't know how long AJ Brown's out. I don't love his team. I don't hate his team, but I don't love it.
I think his team's fine with AJ Brown in. We'll get into it.
With AJ Brown in, but it's a hamstring, right? Hamstrings could be 2 weeks or 10 weeks. I went through this shit with Alshon Jeffrey so many times.
One's a little better than the other.
Honestly, biggest surprise for James is how Kelsey's underperformed.
Kelsey will still have a couple big games this year, but they're limited.
Yeah, no, I agree.
It's a different team. It's a different offense. I don't want to say tight ends in general, but top tier tight ends like that are often like running backs where they just drop off a cliff at some point. Yeah. I think he's my age, right?
Firmly,
34,
yeah, he's right.
Firmly believe if Elijah Mitchell doesn't end up on the IR, he would be second on the depth chart. That's what Jerry says.
Yeah, no, that's why I said Mason was the number 3 guy.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can always look back in hindsight and be like, should have had the handcuff. But if he doesn't get hurt, then that's a wasted roster spot. So I mean, it goes both ways. It just was the worst case scenario, unfortunately, where
0, 3, 3.6, 4.2, 0.6, 0.0.
Jerry drafted Mitchell.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, it was just worst case scenario.
So what are you talking about?
I don't remember the draft. I'm sorry, Jerry.
That was weeks ago, motherfucker. I'm partying. So that's our week 2 matchups. I guess we should probably get into the trade just because we're going to be talking about the state of teams now.
State of the league.
Yep. Oh, wrong thing. So your trade, you want to talk it through?
Give me a graphic.
Yeah, sure. So I really hated...
I worked so hard on these graphics.
Sexual assault is funny, guys. We're bringing it back.
I really hated...
I had to use the nickname. Come on, it's only fair.
I really hated my quarterback situation. Caleb was, I think, my 5th round pick, and he's not there yet. He might get there later. But luckily, I hit on running backs, or at least I thought I hit after week 2. Stevenson, looked like he was going to be a workhorse. J.K. Dobbins was putting up numbers, so I thought I had a running back to spare.
Let me see Scotty's roster for a second.
I really like this trade.
So I downgraded at running back to drop Gibbs, and instead I would slot in J.K. Dobbins, and I I upgraded at quarterback, and I think a slight upgrade at wide receiver. Jaden Reed, when Jordan Love gets back, could be huge. I'm not sure, but I know what DK Metcalf is, so
Yeah. What are you doing?
I think I upgraded at QB and wide receiver, basically just to ship Gibbs, and I somehow convinced Scotty to take Deshaun Watson. So I
You deserve a medal for that.
Yeah, I think it's. I see this as an absolute win.
So, looking at it in a vacuum, I think it's a very even trade.
I
Disagree.
aim for even trades.
The fact that Scotty did this at 0-2 and he got potential future value when he needs it now, I think is a mistake.
Yeah, no, I that's why I don't see this as an even trade. I'm sorry. I think Jason wins the trade even before you factor in their circumstances.
I don't know if I agree with that. I love Jahmyr Gibbs. I think he has a lot more value on a team without another Lions offensive player because you just limit your ceiling like that. Like I was stuck with all last year.
So look at
hold
Scotty's
on.
starters.
That's what I don't understand is if you put this trade in context with Scotty's starters, he already has Kyron Williams and James Cook. Like, do you really need your third running back that badly? You have Anthony Richardson, Jaden Daniels. Now you're going to be starting Geno Smith at quarterback or Grover Cleveland.
And how's Geno Smith done this year?
Like Jerome Ford is.
Geno Smith is currently QB 10.
That seems.
After 2 weeks, he's put up 17.8, 17.8
Oh,
against Denver and New England.
Denver has the number one defense against wide receivers in the league.
But look at the rest of his running backs: Jerome Ford, Blake Corum. I don't know why Blake Corum's on his team.
Handcuff.
I guess a handcuff for Kyron. Is he even the number 2 though?
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Okay, well he's not Kyron Williams.
Scotty needed.
He needed a running back.
He only had 2 startable running backs.
He needed a third running back, and he needs someone to Jason's point, he can put in the super flex.
But to give up, the part I really take issue with is giving up DK. Like, sure, Jahmyr Gibbs for Jaden Daniels, fine. I'm fine with that part of the trade. DK, the other piece is DK for Deshaun Watson, Jaden Reed. Really? Like, for me, that's where I think you win this trade is you got a... I don't see him. Is he going to start Jaden Reed week in, week out?
Not until Love gets back. But when Love gets back, he will.
Jaden Reed is a stud. I think Jaden Reed's going to be a wide. Not point wise, like I don't think he'll finish top 10, but I think he'll be putting up wide receiver 1 numbers by the end of the season.
I wouldn't be surprised if Reed passes DK Metcalf.
But not right now, which is why I think when you factor in 0-2, Scotty might have made a boo boo.
I mean, at that point, you're playing for points.
Yeah, that's fair.
Maybe I'm wrong. I think
points now.
I think you easily won this trade.
I don't think it's egregious. I think Jason's gonna see more value out of it, but like it's not a trade rate.
Like I said, I mean,
no, I wouldn't say it's that, but I think Scotty firmly loses this trade. I think it makes his team worse.
I mean, I think Geno and Jaden Daniels were pretty similar, so at least his starting lineup I think does improve, and I think that's pretty objective. His points per game should go up.
I think whatever he gains from Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be offset by what he loses from Jaden Daniels and DK Metcalf. That's what I'm saying.
That's what makes things a fair trade.
So what I'm saying is he did not really improve his team in the grand scheme of things. You're saying, oh, this makes his team better. No, it doesn't. It gives him a third running back that he's going to start instead of his better super flex play and his better wide receiver play.
I think it gives him more options week in and week out.
Again, hard to disagree, but we've talked it out.
I wouldn't have made the trade if I was Scotty. I just don't think it was like a terrible trade.
I just don't get it. I guess.
I mean, and Jaden Daniels, he could get hurt any week if you've seen him play. He got hit last week and his helmet flew off 20 feet.
So you have the 2 most fragile quarterbacks in the league.
I think in my notes, I mentioned that if you stack my 2 quarterbacks, one on the other one's shoulders, they're still shorter than like Shaq.
Is that true?
They're both like 5'9".
Wait, is Shaq 12 feet tall?
Well, they're not standing feet on head. One's sitting on the other one's shoulders.
Oh, okay. Like it's like a game of chicken in the pool. I got it. Okay.
Like either of them don't have to go down on their knees for Shaq.
He says holding his infant daughter.
Yeah, I'm just talking about dude stuff.
Did you put the 18+ warning on this?
That's just locker room talk.
Okay.
Sorry, baby.
I think I need to use my league manager powers and put Deshaun Watson back on his team for that.
I mean, that's the absolute win. So
That's the new Sacco punishment. You have to keep Deshaun Watson on your team. for an
Even
entire
after he
season.
retires?
Yes. Okay, Jesus Christ. Let's move on.
So of the let's start with the 2-0 teams that are on your screen. They are myself, yourself, Zach, and James. If there's, I'll start with you since we're in
can
this
you
conversation.
scroll down to my rankings?
Of course.
Thanks, buddy.
So I'll start with you.
Are we doing 0
because-
2 or 2 0?
2-0s.
Okay.
So of the 2-0s, myself, Brad, Luckbox, and James.
Yes.
Who would you say if you had to predict one to win the title right now? If you said one of these teams is going to win a title, pick which one.
Brad.
Why?
So he put up 155 with Allen putting up 10. And it's not like Allen had a bad game or couldn't have done it. No, he didn't need to do anything because, I mean, the Dolphins just weren't getting it done, and he could just cruise on to victory, and he still put up 155. I think Brock Bowers could easily finish the top tight end, maybe top 3 for sure. I mean, he's putting up wide receiver numbers when every other tight end in the league, Kelsey, Laporta, they're all doing nothing. So I really like Brad's team, top to bottom. I think his wide receivers are solid. I think Justin Jefferson's big. I think Nico Collins will be the top dog in Houston for the rest of the season. And as soon as he gets Jordan Love back, I don't really see any holes. There are 2 small question marks I have. The first being Ayuk and the second being Zamir White. Both have make or break matchups this week where it's extremely favorable for them to go off. And I think if one or both of them gets the job done, Brad has no holes left, and I never want to face that team ever.
Yeah, no, I agree with you that of the 2-0 teams, I also would pick Brad as the best. I think there's kind of like Brad, and then I would say like Zach and I are kind of in the same tier, and I'd put myself a little bit above him, and then I would say probably James would be my weakest of the 4. But, and I know you might feel differently, but
without spoilers, I have a 1A and a 1B. The difference that puts Brad up top is I think his ceiling is the highest of any team.
Agreed.
I think he could easily be the top scorer on any given week, which is what you need to win a championship.
agreed.
I mean, his quarterbacks, Josh Allen and Jordan Love, the ceiling, especially with Josh Allen, is crazy high. With Bowers, it's high. Nico Collins is huge. Justin Jefferson is huge. Achan is huge. So I just think on any given week, Brad this season could be the highest scoring in the history of our league, just because I love the
Okay,
ceiling.
at what point is this like you're trying to jinx me? that
I mean-
felt a little.
Keep doing it. Keep going. Just a little more.
So, like I said, it's close with another team. I'm just saying.
Let him finish.
His ceiling is what
Look at
sets
me
it-
so I can finish.
is what sets it apart. But it could also be his downfall. Moster comes back, Achan could get hurt or just not do well.
Wait, you said you had a 1A and a 1B. Who's your 1B?
Let me.
We're not there yet.
Oh, okay.
You guys gave yours, so.
Well, I didn't get to talk about mine.
Yeah.
I didn't get to talk about my reason for picking you. Don't you want to hear that?
Oh, did you pick
Can
him
I?
too?
Can I jinx you? Yeah.
Oh,
Yes, you can jinx me too.
Okay, thanks. So no, a lot of this. I mean, I don't want to echo this everything you just said, but you're right.
He's
Absolutely.
gonna echo.
Brock Bowers was a fantastic pick. Jerry says Brad has the best team of all time. There is no scenario where he doesn't win the championship. I love it so much.
Wow.
Let's just keep this going. Everybody,
Yeah.
just keep doing it in the chat. No,
You are the reason that I drink.
I think that Achan and Pollard, like I said earlier, probably will come back to earth a little bit. But even then, you have Raheem Mostert in case anything goes sideways. I think Brock. Like I can't speak highly enough about Brock Bowers as being a huge pick. I think Josh Allen, you've yet to see his true value, but you're going to. The
3
Justin,
rushing touchdowns in week 1.
What-
I think I saw some value.
what round did you pick Justin Jefferson? Is what I'm trying to remember.
2.
So like, again, there were question marks. I think his value was low because of the question marks around the quarterback position, and he's been wide receiver what,
Yeah.
5?
Yeah, I mean, I made a couple judgment calls in the draft, and they've kind of been paying off so far. I don't
Yeah.
remember who was around him, but I remember there was like 3 wide receivers in the same realm as Justin Jefferson. But the only reason they were even comparable was because
Of the quarterback.
of the quarterback
Sure.
situation.
Yep.
But in my head, I just feel like Justin Jefferson doesn't need a quarterback. He just needs somebody standing there to catch the ball from the center.
Also, to be fair, 16 of Brad's points came from one play last week. That's not always going to happen, but even without that, he was up there.
Brock Bowers, I always like to wait on tight ends. I never understand people who take tight ends in the second, third round. Obviously, I picked him because I saw he does the upside. I did not expect it to happen this quickly in the season. I thought it'd be like towards the end of the season, so happy with that. Zamir White is my big question mark. I'm not super worried about Brandon Ayuk at least being serviceable. Zamir White has been mediocre. There's a chance he could lose the bell cow role. If he doesn't get it done against Carolina this week, then I might have some running back issues to figure out.
Well, let me ask you this. I'm surprised you're starting him over Calvin Ridley.
It's the matchup, dude.
Yeah,
I get it.
He's got the best matchup.
I get it. If you're gonna start Zamir White, there's no better match to start him.
Have you seen Will Levis play though?
But he's wide receiver 14 right now. Calvin Ridley is.
He has more touchdowns to the other team.
That's
I'm
not Calvin
talking
Ridley's
about Will
problem.
Levis. Yeah, Calvin Ridley is still a wide receiver 2, and you're starting him. You're starting a flex player who is running back 47. Like I'm not saying don't start again. If you're gonna start Zamir White, this is the time to start Zamir White. I'm just saying I think it is a more of a coin flip than you think. I'm in the same boat with Dak Prescott and Derek Carr this week. We'll get to that in my matchup.
Look, you're right, but I'm
Do you want one more?
It really goes to my point where if I can't trust Zamir White in the flex against this fucking team, he doesn't belong.
No, this is a make or break week.
Plus,
for him.
who does he play?
Carolina. We said this.
No, Brad.
Oh, who does he?
Oh.
Who do you play?
Oh, Jerry.
Yeah, he has a good week to do whatever he wants.
I didn't say it. I may have been thinking it,
Did
but
you
I
just
didn't
call
say
it his Jerry buy?
That phrase may have been used earlier. I said to clear. Let's go to your team now. I don't want to
my team. I mean,
talk about my team as my.
Who's your number one?
Who's your number one?
I obviously like my team, but
there it is.
It's pointless.
There it is. The jinx is complete.
The other team that I think doesn't have a lot of holes, at least in terms of starting roster, is Sean. I mean, Jackson and Carr. I don't know if Carr's gonna keep putting numbers like that, but like forget about Carr being
but he's got
your QB2.
Prescott.
Yeah, having Prescott and Carr to alternate depending on their matchups is a great. Your floor for your quarterback and super flex is great. Jonathan Taylor, if you could stay healthy, love that. James Conner, we'll see if he keeps it going.
He's been the better of my 2 running backs.
I understand that, and we'll see if he keeps it going. Olave is great. Smith is obviously going to eat until A.J. Brown is 100%. Waddle may regress a little bit, but there's only so much you can do about that. Not a lot to not be happy about in your starting lineup. Your bench scares me. Outside of Prescott, obviously you just have to move in there because Kittle is out. Brooks, Brown, Brennan, and Hubbard, and Hawkinson. I'm scared if I have to start any of those.
I don't have depth. I don't. I worry about my team more than I think. I have more concern about my team than I think you do because I feel like I have had some guys like Chris Godwin has been the big one, but also James Conner, who have and Derek Carr even, who have outperformed where I drafted them. Now I didn't start Carr, but I've started Conner and Godwin every week, and I've been the beneficiary of that with that 2-0 record. But I also have. I mean, Jonathan Taylor has underperformed where I drafted him. Chris Olave has actually underperformed where I drafted him. He had a really bad week 1, better last week.
Yeah, it's really important to remember that any player rankings we see right now are just so single game touchdown dependent because it's only been 2 weeks.
Question marks with Waddle as well. I mean, you're absolutely right that I don't have. I have a high floor with my quarterbacks. I have I think you have the high ceiling team of the 2-0s. I think I have one of the maybe the highest floor team of the 2-0s.
I think so. I think your super flex situation, at least for the next month, is better than mine.
Yeah.
So I've Sean as my number 2, and it's I think him and Brad are pretty similar, but Brad just has the ceiling.
Yeah.
But I like Sean's team. There's no one that's gonna dominate week in and week out, but everyone's gonna get there. All the skill players are gonna get 15. The quarterbacks, are gonna get 20. 40 between them. So I just think every week he's gonna be in that top, 3 to 4 in scoring pretty consistently.
It's hard to see Sean going below 110, which means he has a coin flip every week.
Yeah.
If you say 115 is the median, at least once buys start, Sean's got a coin flip to win every week.
the one last thing I'll say is you mentioned my bench having kind of the question marks, but again, well, and Kittle also. I have, like I said, I've had to bench Kittle this week because he's out, and I went with the Muth. But with Jonathan Brooks, Hollywood Brown, and T.J. Hawkinson on my bench, if I can survive the first half of the season with a winning record, my bench will hopefully get a little bit of a boost from those injuries.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, you have 2 bench spots dedicated to the Carolina backfield.
You have 3 tight ends on your team.
I at the draft I had 3. I had Miles Sanders,
and
too.
I thought it was hilarious at the draft.
But Chuba Hubbard has put up like last week he put up like 9.6. I mean, I'm not saying I don't like having Chuba Hubbard on my bench, but I if I'm gonna have Jonathan Brooks, I need to have the starter.
I want you to explain why you have 3 tight ends on your team.
I don't have 3 tight ends.
You do Hawkinson.
Oh, that's my IR spot.
Yeah, I know, and Kittle should be there, and you should get someone besides a tight end to
I'm
fill
not
out your
gonna.
bench.
I drafted T.J. Hawkinson in the 17th round. I'm
Some
not gonna
cost
let him
fallacy.
go. Nope. Yes, it is. No, you're right. It is some cost fallacy. I drafted him for the sole purpose of bringing him back later on when he comes back. He's going to be back. They said they hope by around week 6.
In what universe are you starting
Week 6,
Kittle
week
at
7.
tight end and Hawkinson in the flex?
It's not starting. It's trade value.
So we're beating on Sean's team.
A team in the if you're looking for a tight end around week 6, week 7 when T.J. Hawkins come back, hit your boy up.
Okay, let's
Trade value.
So who?
Seriously,
can we talk for 2 minutes about the other 2-0 teams?
Can
and
we
just give them the
recap?
finger?
So
Yeah.
who was your 1 and 2? Was it you and Sean?
Me and then Sean. So honestly,
Me too.
I don't think the gap. I think we're focusing on the 2-0 teams. I don't think the gap between some of the 1-1 teams is actually that bad.
So
I think like injuries are going to play a big role, obviously, in how people look the next few weeks. But I don't think just because Sean and I are 1 and 2 in my book that we're light years above.
I agree.
A bunch of the 1-1 teams.
Are we going to disagree on our third 2-0 team?
I mean, if you're just looking at the 2-0 teams, I would say Zach is better than James.
I agree.
But I think Zach's team is okay. I'm not scared of them.
I think Zach is a playoff. I see him as kind of like in the 3 to 6 range.
I think Zach is the worst 2-0 team.
He's not starting a quarterback in the Superflex, which says all you need to say about his floor. Your floor is your Superflex. It just is. Your quarterback and your Superflex are what set your floor.
Rashid Shaheed
and
finally.
he benched Justin Herbert.
But he's starting Rashid Shaheed finally, and he's a wide receiver 8, so why wouldn't you?
I mean, so Tyreek Hill's value went like, where would you draft Tyreek Hill now?
3rd round.
Without Tua.
3rd round.
Yeah, maybe.
I say that even though
after Justin Jefferson with
exactly like late 2nd round,
like late 2nd.
Yeah, like I say that realizing I took Jefferson without a quarterback. I would take Jefferson without a quarterback over Hill without a quarterback, but I think he's still late 2nd round, early 3rd round.
Maybe mid 2nd if you're desperate. Late 2nd.
I love Zay Flowers. When Lamar is not tucking and running, he's looking for Zay Flowers all day. Harrison is not.
I love it.
Is not gonna have a ton of value in PPR leagues. He doesn't get a ton of targets, but he's gonna get points.
Also,
he's gonna get big plays.
They didn't have to do anything after that first quarter.
Yeah.
So I mean, Harrison's not.
Let's put it this way: Harrison's averaging 14 points a week. Last week he put up 27. Can you do the math and figure out what he had in week 1?
Thanks for that statistically significant.
No, I don't. I didn't study math for
analysis.
6 years, so I can't help with that. Roma Dunze,
Garbage.
Garbage.
Early.
Garbage context.
Yeah, it's
Early.
garbage context.
He can't score in fantasy in that offense.
Early in the season.
His team's not going to be terrible.
I
He's
just
going
don't
to be in
think-
the hunt for the playoffs from what I'm saying right
Kamara
now, but I'm
and-
not scared of him.
Kamara and Barkley are together putting up 60 points a week for him.
That's
right
the thing.
now.
I don't see him fighting for a bye. I'll put it that way.
I think
He's a you're
Kamara's carrying him.
You're
right
not
now.
factoring in the luck box factor. Zach is a box. He is going to.
How do you
refuse to
factor in
accept
the
it.
luck box factor?
You just have to at this point. It's like it's a law like water and dinosaurs, man. You just gotta.
Is this like the Trump poll bias? Like whatever we say for a year, he's just gonna outperform by +3?
Yeah.
I hate Zach in fantasy football.
Yeah.
Every year, I hate his team, and I hate how lucky he gets.
And then he gets the second bye.
I did the analysis last year, like historically, and he has by far and away the least points scored against him. I can't stand it. It upsets me. To no end.
Real quick, give James his due. His team's not bad.
Yeah. What do you
What do you think?
The
team player?
Robinson
Yeah.
backfield is gonna be good.
What are you doing?
Can
Montgomery.
you say Zach's a luck box?
Everything I say right now,
Box.
Sean's gonna repeat once he starts paying
Box?
attention.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna talk about how.
Go ahead.
I love Montgomery. Montgomery, Gibbs. I hate the stack because it limits your upside. But Montgomery and Gibbs are a pure timeshare, and they're both going to give you minimum RB2 numbers every week. Mike Evans, I swear to God, I feel like he's 40. But I asked one of you guys last week, he's like 29 or something. It's ridiculous. Just keeps doing stuff.
I think his team is the just consistency. He's never going to put up.
Yeah. Baker Mayfield is not the QB1, but he is a totally serviceable super flex.
I mean, I think top to bottom, even as quarterbacks, everyone gets you 15 points every week. I mean, he has a couple question marks at wide receiver until A.J. Brown gets back.
Yeah.
But, the Red Rocket could make Deontay Johnson just fine. So his team is just very consistent.
He's the worst of the 4-2-0 teams.
I mean, I agree with that, but I
Disagree.
think
He's better than Zach.
There's a gulf between him and Zach.
I don't agree with that.
Well,
you two need to like Rochambeau over this and figure it out. I think they're
it's-
pretty close.
No, here's why.
I think they're both in good position for playoffs, but I don't see them being in contention for a bye. I could much more see one of the 1-1 teams taking steps forward
Yeah,
to catch you and I, as opposed to these two teams.
I could see James missing the playoffs.
I mean,
I
anything's
don't.
possible, but
No.
it's hard to miss the playoffs in this league.
Slap
There's only
it.
10 teams.
Maybe.
Wow.
Let me think it through. I mean, like, here's why. Jared Goff is QB 27. That's not great. Baker
Do you think he'll
Mayfield.
finish QB 27?
I think he's. I don't know.
Goff
like,
will get better. Baker will get worse. They'll be fine.
That's correct. A.J. Brown will eventually have 2 hamstrings. I don't think Zeke is going to do much. We'll see what happens with Deontay Johnson, with whoever the hell is it? Andy Dalton, you said?
Yeah, Red Rocket.
We'll see how he does.
Here's-
We'll see if he's the one guy that.
let me
Dalton
let me
locks
just see
onto.
something really quick. So just for context, I want to look at the
Okay.
4-team averages so far. Your
Are we doing
team.
on time?
We're fine. Who gives it?
12:30.
Yeah, people will get here when they get here.
I just asked a fucking
One-
question.
130.
Oh my God.
Your team is averaging
He's heated.
136 a week. My team is averaging
Can
141
we
a
stop
week.
saying
Not-
average after 2 weeks?
It is
Like,
not statistically significant.
Jesus.
Zach
Christ. Yes.
Zach is averaging
I'm averaging
143 a
135
week.
with a standard deviation of like 40.
I understand, but I'm just saying his. But look, I understand 2 weeks is
Sean,
a.
can you define standard deviation?
Let me finish something. I understand we're talking about a ridiculously limited sample size, and you can say it's not
I'm gonna
statistically
pee
significant.
while you guys.
No. Hold on.
This dog is. I'm not. I have to pee.
This is his second pee during the pod.
Piss your pants.
That's not true.
Piss your pants.
That was like 8 years ago.
Get one of
asshole.
Claire's diapers. People don't forget.
She doesn't like being picked up.
What? Since
Yeah.
when?
Always.
I've definitely picked her up.
So seriously,
Maybe she didn't like it.
I understand the point of like a 2-week sample size is not statistically significant. I understand that, but we
Bravo.
are also saying which 2-0 team is the best after like if we're gonna do this argument, then let's get into it. If you're looking at the numbers, he is the lowest average score of the 4-2-0 teams, and it's a decent clip below. More than that, like his team just doesn't scare me. He's starting either Brian Thomas or Darnell Mooney, even when A.J. Brown comes back. Okay, like Brian
Thomas has been good.
so far. Like, and I understand like Bijan has
Yes, he's been good so far. Thank you.
like I don't think that I think if he's starting Brian Thomas week in, week out, he is I don't know. I don't see it.
Yeah, I mean, he's got his wide receiver depth is limited.
And I also think it's telling that he has the Jets defense. Who the Jets have played weak teams the first 2 weeks of the season. Eventually they're going to play the Bills and the Dolphins
That's the
when
baby.
Tua comes
Hi,
back.
sweetheart. Ooh,
So
I got you. Don't worry.
I think James can miss the playoffs. And I might take a slap bet on that.
Remember, there's only 4 teams that are going to miss the playoffs. Definitely the Hagerstown boys. Jerry, even through no fault of his own, is going to be fighting. There only leaves one other missed playoff spot.
Probably, I'm saying it could easily be James. You're telling me that James is markedly better than Jason Smith's team,
What's
than
wrong?
Scotty's team?
What's wrong, baby? You want to face the camera?
Maybe Windows. Maybe
You
that's
want to use my bird chest?
where
as
it is.
pillow?
Anyway,
Try and get on the screen.
let's go to the 0-2s. So of the 0-2 teams, we have the Hagerstown boys, Scotty, and Jerry. Jason, since you just tapped me on the hand, go ahead.
Scroll down. All right, let's
You kicking
see.
your feet?
Where do you want to
Kicking your
start?
feet?
The best 0-2 team, or do you want to start at the worst?
Worst.
So my vote for the worst team in my current rankings is Jerry.
Takes a big ass bite after that.
Yeah, it was-
We've been
was
waiting
bad.
for you to explain this.
Let's it marinate.
Just let that sit there.
I don't think it's his fault. I liked his team after the draft, and they've just been getting taken down one by one. I mean, if he gets cut back, if the Bengals does well and Moss does well, he finally gets Higgins back, and if Steele is that guy in Kansas City, I think later in the season,
Sean?
Jerry's team could be
Hi,
fine.
Claire Bear.
But I think he's just going to be in such a hole through these first
What are you doing?
6 weeks of the season that I don't know if he'll be able to climb out of it. And he did something to the fantasy gods, as Brad said. You know, Garrett Wilson's still good.
What?
Brock Purdy's still good. Aaron
Are you
Rodgers
digging?
looks to be a lot better than I think we thought. He could do okay. Like I said, if his running backs start putting up numbers, he might be fine later in the season with cutback. You know, if he gets Keenan Allen back, it's just he's going to be down in a big hole. And let's say he goes 500 after week 6, he's still in a bad spot. So
let me articulate why I disagree that he's the worst of the 0-2s. Yeah, he's in trouble the next few weeks.
But it gets
How
better.
is his trouble the next few weeks any more than Alex and McMillan's trouble, who are just objectively bad?
Yeah.
Like, Jerry has a lot of injury issues, but if he can stay within like 50 to 100 points of the wild card, or within 1 or 2 games of 500 through week 6, he will have the firepower to make a playoff push. There's just Alex and McMillan are going to be in that same boat the next few weeks, but they have no upside.
Yeah, I think, or even in the worst case scenario where Jerry flames out the first 6 weeks of the season, okay, he'll eventually get his firepower back, like you've identified, and even if he doesn't make the playoffs, he's still going to be better come Sacco time. Like, I agree with Brad everything you said. I think that of the 2-0 teams, I actually, or 0-2 teams rather, I think I actually would put Jerry second to last.
So if this is
Next
a
to
question of let's rephrase it. Let's say which 0-2 team is most likely to
win the Sacco. That's what I said. That's the ask. If you had to pick one team to
Okay.
win a title right now, the 2-0s, and one team to win a Sacco, the 0-2s.
So
Not Jerry, then.
the Sacco, then I would go with McMillan.
Wow, really?
What screen are you looking at right now?
Yeah,
I
like,
feel like there's no daylight between me and Sean here.
you want to so let's let him do the McMillan thing. Let him make his
Nuke the neighbors.
flawed point.
So I think Hurts and CJ Stroud are going to put up 30 plus a week between them.
Yeah, easy.
Neighbors looks very solid, but that's it. He has nothing else besides those 3.
Yeah, dude.
He has 3 players. That's more
Well,
than Alex can
that's
say.
what I'm saying. Like, you're right. That's why he's not going to make the playoffs. But we're not talking about making the playoffs. We're talking about, is he slightly better
Than
than the
Alex.
worst team in the league?
Which is Alex.
And I think Hurts and Stroud over Fields and who?
no, it's not Fields.
Joe Burrow.
Fields and
Fields and
Burrow.
Burrow. But it's more than that. He has. We just said McMillan has 3 players. He has his 2 quarterbacks, and he has Malik Neighbors.
So I love Brees Hall.
That's one.
Name a
Yeah,
second.
name
I'll
one
wait.
more.
I like Josh Jacobs.
Oh yeah, he's real good.
I mean, Josh Jacobs I think he's an RB2 for the rest of the season. So when
Clara hates that.
I think JSN is solid. And I think Moore and Diggs, they're not going to be every week in and out. But if they hit, Alex is going to get wins. And I just think he has 3.5 players compared to McMillan's 3 players. So
I don't know where on
No,
God's
time out. Can we
No.
Count
I
the
don't know
3.5 again.
I don't know where on God's
I
green
blacked out.
you're
No,
finding
I wanna-
3.5 players
no.
on
Let's
that
give
team.
him. Look, Sean and I. We blacked out for a second.
Blacked
we
out.
hit our heads.
So
Oh, let's
question.
hear it again.
So
Here are the 3.5.
Bengals start slow. Do we think Burrow is going to be fine the rest of the year?
I think Burrow is a low end QB1.
Okay.
I would
That's
like,
one guy.
Whoa,
Can
I
we
would
agree?
not say low end Q. I'd say like maybe a high end QB2.
All right, so 3/4 of a guy.
Not a huge difference.
Brees
but I'm just
Hall,
saying, I
They
think-
lost a shootout to the Chiefs. They're not a bad team. They're just 0-2.
If you want to have a slap bet right now about whether Joe Burrow finishes a QB1, I will gladly take that slap bet with anyone.
I think he'll be right around there. but
Okay,
I'm not gonna
I'll do
slap
it.
on
Oh, shake Claire's hand.
You're not slapping my baby.
No.
She did not make that bet.
I would never. You could put a gun to my head. I would not slap
Hey,
Claire.
guys, little tip. Don't shake the baby.
Don't shake the baby.
I mean, if it was a choice between
But
death
I will
or a light slap,
when Joe Burrow does not finish as a QB1, I will slap the shit out of Brad.
Okay. It's on. It's witness. Someone in the chat say witness.
A gentleman's agreement.
will he finish higher or lower than
No one
Derek
said
Carr?
huzzah. Can you just once be cool?
So, all right.
Just once.
So Joe
Can you
Burrow,
just once be cool?
Joe Burrow, mostly a guy.
He's-
Brees Hall, definitely a guy. JSN,
Phrasing.
I think 3/4 of a guy.
You mean
He's still. He's not understanding what
Yeah,
I'm
I'm lost.
saying.
Josh Jacobs, 3/4 of a guy.
No.
And Moore and Diggs together are half a guy.
No.
that's 4 guys?
You can't add 2 guys together and say they add
That's
up
not-
to
yeah,
half
that's not
a
how
guy.
that
I
works.
think one of them will get points.
I'll
on a
give you
given-
minimum half a guy increments.
You can't do it. No, that defeats the whole purpose.
No,
of it.
because we can do the same thing with Alex, but you can't be like between Moore, Diggs, and Smith and Jigba. That's a guy.
This is so
Like it's a guy over
ridiculous.
3 fucking spots.
Alex, I'm
This is
sorry.
insane.
Your team sucks.
This is insane. And
Your
it's a dumb
team is-
argument because like they're clearly the worst 2 in the league, despite Jason saying Jerry's at the bottom.
I could.
I
No,
want to
so
piss
the
off
question
Sean for a
was, must I
second.
could win the
I
sack,
could
though.
I could see McMillan over Jerry, just because of the injuries.
Can we piss off Sean for a second?
Oh, I'd love to. It's my favorite hobby.
Yeah, I'm aware.
He's so mean to
Scotty, I'm gonna look Scotty in the eye. I want you to look at me and Claire. I hate you as a fantasy player and as a human being. I have called dibs on you as my rival in this league. I hope so much that Sean's wishes come true and you go first to worst.
I love everything you're saying right now.
But you're not gonna. Your team is fine.
Never mind.
Your team is fine.
Who do you fantasy hate more, Zach or Scotty?
Oh. I don't want to say that. I don't want to say this on YouTube where it's recorded.
I mega loathe you all.
I enjoy my rivalry that I'm trying to build with Scotty. Zach makes me want to cry. The things Zach does and gets away with makes me want to cry.
All right.
I just imagine that scene in Breaking Bad.
It's not-
with Jesse Pinkman.
It's yeah.
He can't keep getting away with
Oh
it.
my god, you are like. Are can you just not hear me talk? I already made that joke. That's like the 3rd time.
I'm on a tape delay.
It
It really is
happens.
on a 10-second delay. It's not. I'll
Right?
put it this way. I enjoy
Right?
Scotty. I enjoy when he wins. I enjoy when he loses. Zach, it's not funny anymore.
That's
Like-
not funny.
It's just not funny anymore.
All right, so I think we're all in agreement on the best 0-2 team.
I think it's definitely
Scotty.
by
It's
a
not.
mile.
Yeah, it's by a mile. Scotty will be is a like a bubble playoff team. Like he's on the bubble.
Right, clear.
So
Well, he has Blake Corum. What are we doing?
will you stop shitting on Blake Corum? He's a fine handcuff.
I think.
I have
it's-
Trey Benson. Trey Benson's done dick all too. Like it is what it is.
just-
You have your handcuffs. Let's
So
make our predictions because it's getting to be 12:40. So again, starting with the commissioners matchup as is tradition. Nope, wait, hit the wrong
The
button.
box score.
I know, I
Yeah.
pressed the wrong button. I'm sorry. Gosh. All right.
Because he's an idiot with computers. Yeah.
What?
He's
Oh, yeah.
Uncle Sean is
Okay.
Stupid.
So week 3 predictions. Let's start with my matchup. I will go ahead and predict. I mean, given all the shit that we've talked about Alex's team, even with all the troubles I'm having with George Kittle out this week, with Jalen Waddle having the question mark of Skylar Thompson, I'm still predicting myself because of how much we've shit talked to Alex and because I think my team is objectively a tier above him, which is why I'm almost certain to lose this week. But here we are. I'm picking me.
So
His projection's higher than I thought it would be.
I stood up for Alex, and I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna take
What?
Alex for the win.
Wow.
So
Claire.
Burrow gets the Commanders with Higgins finally back. I think Burrow is gonna have a great game.
She is shocked.
I don't love his Fields matchup. That's probably the hardest matchup.
Yeah.
So, I think Sean's QB matchups are decent. Alex has one great, one bad. The rest is kind of in the middle as far as matchups go. I love, Brees Hall already did some work. I'm going to take Alex. It's kind of a coin flip for me.
I do. By the way, I just wanted for your edification. I do want to just make sure you know I'm still flirting with the idea of.
You want Daddy?
I don't think I'm going to put Dak Prescott in.
Poor dang.
Hi, sweetie. Well, you better decide now.
I don't think I'm going to put Dak Prescott in against Baltimore's defense. I think I am going to go Lamar and Derek Carr based on the matchups. The other one I was flirting with was instead of starting Jalen Waddle, I was wondering about starting Chuba, but I think I'm gonna rock with Waddle and just hope for the best.
The Chubba Bubba.
Chubba Bubba.
We talked about floor versus ceiling. Alex got a great start with Brees Hall. I still think 125 is a reach from what I'm looking at. I just don't see Sean going below 120, even with a bad week. I think it'll be closer than it should be based on what we just said about how we feel about their teams. But I think Sean, 5-10 points.
Next up, starting with the next 2-0 team, you get Jerry, but Jerry does have 32 out of 2 players.
Before Thursday, I would have taken Brad, obviously. Then Jerry comes out, gets almost 33 Thursday, so I'm still taking Brad, and it's not close. It's not close.
So I didn't have any Thursday players in any of my leagues, and so I didn't have to worry about it. I looked on Friday, like, what are my projections? And I see I'm down 32-0 in multiple leagues. I'm like, what the hell happened Thursday? But then you look at the projections, it's still plus like 20, 25, something like that. I feel very lucky. This is like, I'm going to jinx myself here, but I feel like this is a Jerry buy. And again, it's not because his team's bad. It's just because his team's not playing right now. His team's on IR.
Yeah.
3 weeks from now, if I was playing Jerry, I would sweat this a lot more. But right now, I'm feeling good.
Yeah,
I'm feeling good about being 3-0.
Until Jerry's team is healthy, you can't really.
And this is like, let's be fair to Jerry. Like, this is another unfair thing. He has all this bad luck with injuries, and then he can't even get an easy matchup to ride out this rough stretch.
Yeah, I'd rather play you now if I was in Jerry's position.
And get it out of the way.
I know I'm gonna lose.
That's an interesting.
Hard disagree. You take the chance to win every week and hope that you win, put enough wins together.
But if his projection's 115, does he really have a chance to win any week?
Here's the.
Maybe, I guess we said that's the median.
A window or an
115 is the median. So yes.
Yeah, if you're telling me I could have the choice between playing a team I might be able to beat and a team I won't have a chance of, when my team is already not scoring enough points to make the wild card, like his wild card chances are slim based on he's going to be playing catch up until he gets healthy.
Put Pacheco, Cup, and McCaffrey in there. He can absolutely beat me on any given week.
If
not over the course of the season, but any given week.
Though. Would you rather play the Dolphins? Would you rather? Let's say you have the Bills again in week 4 or the Bills again in week 15 if Tua's back. Would you rather play the Bills again without Tua, or would you rather have a chance to play the Bills again when you have Tua back?
I understand what you're going for, that you'd rather take the wins where you can get them kind of thing.
No, get rid of the losses.
And get rid of the losses when you know you're going to lose, but I don't.
So if he loses to Brad 6 times out of 10, 6.5 times out of 10, I would not want that later in the season. I'd rather do it when I'm 1 time in 10 and just.
And I don't know if he loses. I don't know if he loses 6.5 times out of 10.
I think he's so desperate for wins right now that it's like a pis-aller, a Hail Mary, where he needs every chance at a win he can get to keep his head above water for when his team is healthy.
There's a reason
it's a zero-sum game.
There's a reason he dropped $400 on Carson Steele.
Yeah, it's he'll have Carson Steele for a while.
What do you mean it's a zero-sum game? What's
it's
that statement?
Zero-sum game.
I know what a zero-sum game is.
You have to play somebody every week.
And
it switches. So if you don't play Brad now, you have to play him later. Why wouldn't he want to collect? His team is in the gutter right now. I don't like his odds against any team.
I like his odds against Zach or against. Alex.
I see what Jason's saying.
I know, but I'm saying I like his odds. I think he could he's more of a coin flip with an Alex or even a McMillan or a window.
If you simulated it a million times with a
we're getting in the weeds. This is like when Zach and I want to kill everybody. When Sean and James get in a room and start talking legalese, we're like, do they realize how obnoxious they're being right now? Now Jason and I are starting to do that. So point taken. Jason has it's an intriguing argument. The point is,
we all predict
Jerry needs to murder Zach and suck his blood to try and get whatever luck Zach has in his body.
Jason,
like the fucking unicorns in Harry Potter. It's the only way to keep Jerry alive.
Now, Jason, you are actually projected to lose to Window by 20.
By 20?
Yes.
Something's wrong there.
No, it's not. It's what's wrong is he started.
Oh, Stevenson
and Hunter Henry, who combined for 2.2 points. You are in a hole, my friend.
Yeah. Well, so
Sam Darnold.
That's. I mean, we have clarity after Thursday, so obviously Andrew, I don't. Before Thursday, I'm taking my team.
I still think it's gonna be close. I would say
agree.
Can you go into the matchup? I just want to see what the percentage is. I would say it's
Which team?
55-45, Andrew. I want to see the matchup where
This
it
one.
says the actual matchup.
Yeah,
I don't think I can do that.
Fantasy cast.
Yes, that's what I want to see. I want to see what the percentage is. I would say 55-45.
Just
Okay, so it does
click.
60-40.
It's
You
a
can see it.
60-40.
Yeah. 60-40 Andrew. I think it's a little bit of a stretch. I think it's in the right wheelhouse. I really don't like Andrew's team. Sam Darnold has a ceiling. Derrick Henry. It's like he has a great quarter a game, and then they forget he's there. And sometimes he poaches touchdowns, and sometimes he doesn't. I don't rely on him week in and week out.
So
I wouldn't. Jordan Mason obviously is.
The Rams are
in a good
dog water
situation.
right now. He gets the 49ers D and Jordan Mason, and the Rams have no receivers and no O-line. So I think he gets a lot of points there that I'm not happy about.
Also, the Miami's run defense has been bad, and Charbonnet is his running back. I mean,
I just think Jason still has more upside. I'm taking Andrew. I'm just saying it's not. It's not over and done with.
I agree wholeheartedly. It's not over and done with. I think but there's a lot of ways.
Oh, that was adorable.
There's a lot of ways that this goes right for Window, and very few ways where it goes right for Jason Smith. He has to have. He can't have like more than a player or two bust at this point anymore with Ramondre and Hunter Henry busting. I am going to go Window as well. I just think it's too steep of a hill right now to climb. Not that you can't, but
It's
I just
possible.
don't think realistically you will. But you're still going to be fine. I think you're still going to score enough points that you'll be kind of in the middle of the pack, and 1 and 2, like you're right in the thick of it. But Window, but Window could also bumble this. We'll see.
It's an important game. There's a big difference between 2 and 1.
Oh, it's huge.
Yeah,
They're both huge difference.
Top five or bottom five?
No, this isn't the game I cared about.
Well, this is Desperation Bowl right here.
Someone goes to 0-3.
I don't think this is close though. I mean, obviously McMillan can pull it out, but how is this not?
Oh yeah, this is Scott.
An easy win for Scott.
All his skill positions are a tier above McMillan's. Down the line. Like Kyron, a tier above Rashad White. Gibbs, a tier above Aaron Jones. Chase, a tier above Neighbors.
Chase has looked
3 tiers above Jennings.
Chase has looked disappointing this year.
Chase
started off
Chase
slow.
held out, so he didn't.
He gets
practice.
the Commanders this week.
I
I don't think you guys understand. They don't have any
I'm
cornerbacks.
not arguing.
They put those little dummies they
I'm
practice
still
against
not
out
arguing.
there. I was talking to Sean.
You looked me right in the eyes.
I'm taking McMillan.
It's 'cause Sean was looking
Stop it.
Taking McMillan.
Stop it.
You're an idiot.
Jalen Hurts, CJ
You're being
Stroud.
a contrarian.
Jalen Hurts, CJ Stroud
Yeah, everyone else though is
makes up the difference.
Makes up the difference.
You are vast again.
Malik Neighbors, Jawan
Okay.
Jennings, Tyler Johnson, Mark Andrews.
Let's go
who
back
has
to this
not been his
argument.
normal
Let's go
self.
back to this argument.
Floor, yes, but not
Averaging.
against Scotty.
Averaging
Oh, no one cares. Dude.
120. Okay, he's averaging 99. Wow, that argument shot me in the foot.
God. Fucking
It's okay, Sean.
double
It's
or
not
nothing
statistically
clap it.
significant.
Thank goodness, right? Otherwise, I wouldn't have anything to argue.
No, this is Scotty by a mile. It's
This
not
is-
close.
It's McMillan.
It's not close.
It's McMillan.
Slap bet you two.
I'm not going to slap bet on it. It's just I'm predicting.
Because
McMillan.
you're being a contrarian. You know you're wrong. You just want it to be true because you
Right.
beat Scotty.
Do you think
and
it's
I'm
close?
for you.
I hope McMillan
Do you think it's
wins.
close?
What? No.
Yeah, it's not close.
Look, Sean, I'll even concede this. I'm rooting for McMillan because I
I'm-
want Scotty to go 0-14 or whatever the maximum number is. But it's not close.
Let me say this. I think Scotty has.
Screw squad.
I think Scotty has the better team. I agree with you
Then what's the
We've
point of
said
these
that-
predictions? If you,
because
I think he has the better team, and I think he has players who are going to put up more points this week. I just think he's going to lose.
I think that both C.J. Stroud against the Vikings and Jalen Hurts against the Saints.
Vikings are a good defense. The Saints are a good defense.
Okay.
All right, moving on. This is dumb.
Yeah,
You're a bad person. You should feel bad.
you're being intentionally obtuse.
Okay.
Where
As
we
opposed
going?
to
Where we going?
unintentionally
Where we going? Where we going? Where we going?
The only one we haven't done.
Which is this one?
that one right there.
Oh, fucking murder
Yeah.
your family.
Isn't Sean a
Claire,
big
they're
dumb
so-
idiot?
They're so mean.
This is a big
They're so
game.
mean.
This all that stuff we talked about. Who's the third best 2-0 team? We're gonna find out today.
Yep.
Well, do I even believe that? 'Cause
Once
I think it's Zach, but I don't know if
Zach
I
isn't starting 2 quarterbacks, so
That's fair. Yeah. Kamara against Philly, whose defense looks a lot better than they did last year. still without
What do you
the
think,
quarterback.
What do you think, Claire?
Plus,
They're silly.
The Jets defense already got 16.
Yeah.
Although Seattle gets Skylar Thompson, so
Jared Goff, Baker Mayfield against Denver. He's gonna put up some points.
Denver's defense is good. Patrick
There is
Surtain,
one
he's him.
thing you're all
You both
for-
said Denver defense is
You're
bad. And I hate you
both
for it.
you're both forgetting this.
Or is it Sean? Yeah, Zach is a box.
Thank you. Zach wins.
I'm going James.
Zach is a box.
Fuck, I have to go Zach.
Right?
God damn
He's
it.
a box. Like, what? I'm not betting against Zach anymore until he starts losing games. I'm gonna keep predicting him to win. I'm gonna keep being right about
I
it.
hate my friends.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Like, look at the projections, and we're just like, nope, it's Zach.
Listen, you can either get on board or get out of the way.
The man is starting Rashid Shaheed in the Superflex.
He'll put up 25.
Who's projected 10.8, and he's gonna win.
Rashid Shaheed is wide receiver what right now? 8. Like, yeah,
Yeah, off of 2 passes.
yeah, he's
all
a
he
big
is.
play guy. That's all he is. The reason I wanted him. All right, that's our show. League event starts in 7 minutes. Get here, and we'll see you. Oh, and
Say bye, Claire.
last thing, tune in
Bye.
Wednesday for our 50th episode spectacular. Make sure you're all on the podcast. Our Windows here.
Evie, it's okay.
Our 50th
Puppy.
episode. I already completed one of my presents to the league, so you'll see it on Wednesday.
Evie, come here.
It's really good. It's really good. All right, we'll see you next week.